You already talked about how you wanted to be in the trial.
That would only be common sense since I'd spent 6.5 hours with her that day. I was the only one of the very few people that had spent the whole day with her leading up to it. So that would only
And that you wanted to give these victim impact statements.
Yes.
You're on a mission to convict this guy. That's what...
He convicted himself. There's video. He's convicted himself.
You are ensuring, trying to, his conviction.
No,
that's
what I want is I want these people, and I know you might not have a heart and understand, but everybody else in this room, I want them to understand the impact that he has had and his actions has had on so many people. That's what I want.
Right, but we're not even at that stage yet. You are on a mission.
You're bringing this up. He convicted himself. Let's show the footage.
Rineyville, Kentucky is a small unincorporated community in Hardin County, located about 20 minutes south of the Fort Knox military base. With just over 3,000 residents according to the 2020 census, it's known for its scenic beauty, rolling hills, open farmland, and a peaceful rural atmosphere. The town has a strong military presence thanks to its proximity to Fort Knox, which shapes much of the local culture and economy. It's a family-friendly place, tight-knit and welcoming. Which is exactly why what happened here on June 26, 2023, stunned the community. Inside one of its peaceful homes, an Army staff sergeant named Jordan Henning carried out an unthinkable act of violence against his wife, Ashley Henning, a fellow soldier, a mother of 3, and a woman deeply admired by those who knew her. The question that haunted Rineyville and took center stage in the courtroom wasn't just what happened that night, but how the picture of a seemingly stable military family in a quiet town shattered so completely. Let's dive in. Ashley Williams was born in June 1986. From an early age, she seemed destined for leadership. She married young, had 2 sons, and at the same time, built a distinguished career in the U.S. Army. Her service took her to Iraq and Afghanistan, combat zones that tested even the toughest soldiers, and she earned a respected post with the Army's Human Resources Command at Fort Knox. To those who knew her, Ashley was the kind of person who left a mark. Warm, smart, full of life. She wasn't just respected, she was loved. And around 2015, that charm caught the attention of Jordan Henning, then a service member in his mid-20s. Jordan was born in June 1990 and, like Ashley, was stationed at Fort Knox as an active duty staff sergeant. He served with the 1st Army Division East. He was also going through a divorce. The two bonded quickly, soldiers and parents both navigating complicated personal lives. Jordan had a daughter from his first marriage, and during his enlistment he learned that a past 2-week fling had resulted in another daughter. That revelation came with a child support case. Eventually, Jordan gained custody of that child. Ashley and Jordan grew close. They dated and connected, and in May 2016, they tied the knot. Ashley embraced Jordan's daughter as her own, as did Jordan with her sons. The couple eventually settled into a spacious 3,000-square-foot home in Rineyville, 4 bedrooms, 3 bathrooms, a spacious yard, and their 3 children. From the outside, it looked like the American dream, a proud military couple, a beautiful home in a quiet Kentucky town, a fresh start for a blended family. But in true crime, appearances can lie. Behind closed doors, Ashley and Jordan Henning's marriage was far from perfect. Friends would later describe their relationship as rocky, marked by tension, arguments, and growing emotional distance. There were reported intimacy issues, and Jordan had begun testosterone replacement therapy. Whether that played a role in what was to come remains unclear. But on June 26, 2023, the couple hoped to put aside hard feelings to celebrate Ashley's 37th birthday.
Happy birthday to you. Happy
At the urging of a close friend, Ashley and Jordan hosted a birthday gathering at their Rineyville home. It was a cheerful summer evening, friends, neighbors, and family mingling over food and drinks, children laughing as they played on a slip and slide. But as the sun set, so did the mood. What began as a joyful celebration took a dark turn. Later that night, an argument broke out between Ashley and Jordan, reportedly over something as mundane as cleaning up after the party. But this was no ordinary dispute. Ashley, sensing something deeper, something more dangerous, told one of her sons to run to a neighbor's house for help, because this time she was afraid.
Asked for me, he asked my daughter, "Is your dad home?" And she said, "Yeah, what's going on?" She obviously recognized that he was upset. He said that my mom sent me over. She needs your dad's help. My dad is super mad at my mom, and she needs you to come over. My daughter immediately came to the stairs, to the cellar, and called out for us. When I came upstairs, she told me what her had said, and I did just that. I walked out the front, headed over to find out what was going on. As I did that, I commented to her, "Go get Jimmy," who was our other neighbor to the north of our house. It said, "Jimmy's already over there." So I came out the door and walked across the street, through our front yard, through the ditch and over into the front yard of the Henning's house. Approached it. Jimmy Watts came out of the house. Correction, he came off the deck, because the deck lets out into the backyard. He came off the deck and around the side to the fence. And the first thing he said was, "You need to call 911.
Jimmy Watts was more than a neighbor. He was Jordan's close friend. But on the night of June 26th, he was called to the Henning home by Ashley's teenage son for help. Inside, Jimmy found a volatile scene. Jordan and Ashley locked in a heated argument. When he tried to intervene, Jordan turned on him. According to testimony, Jordan placed Jimmy in a headlock and threatened him to leave or else. Fearing for his safety, Jimmy did just that. He stepped outside and called 911 to report a domestic disturbance. Left inside the house were Jordan, Ashley, and their 13-year-old daughter. Moments later, what happened next would be caught on the home surveillance cameras. After the shots rang out, the neighborhood fell silent. Outside, neighbors with the children heard the rapid bursts of gunfire, followed by nothing. Moments later, Jordan was observed fleeing the scene in a white sedan. Jimmy Watts, the same neighbor who had tried to intervene earlier, rushed back inside the house. What he found was devastating. Ashley Henning, shot multiple times, lay unresponsive on the floor. Her 13-year-old daughter, still inside, had witnessed the entire ordeal. A second 911 call was placed. This time, it wasn't about a disturbance. It was about a homicide. Deputies arrived to a grim scene. Ashley was pronounced dead at the home, and Jordan had vanished, but not for long. He was located by Hardin County deputies approximately 90 minutes later, just 1 mile away from the house.
Just kill me, don't send me. I'm not gonna do that. Please do that. Just kill me. Absolutely.
Jordan Henning repeatedly apologized to deputies after the shooting, but for Ashley's family, it was too late. The next day, he pleaded not guilty to murder and was held on a $1 million bond. As the case moved toward trial, the central question became, what drove a man with no criminal record to such a violent act? Legal experts widely expected a first-degree murder conviction. The evidence was strong. Surveillance video showed Jordan retrieving a gun, reloading, and firing again, acts prosecutors would argue showed a deliberate course of action, not some sudden emotional outburst. Unless the defense could dramatically change the narrative, he was likely facing life without parole.
Storm clouds gathered over the Henning household, and another storm tore through that house that took her life. As soon as her friends were gone, Jordan Henning came in, and you'll see and hear, because this storm too was caught on camera. Surveillance cameras around the house will show you how Jordan Henning raged into the kitchen and begins yelling. He screams at her, he yells at her, "You never listen to me, you don't love me." He's berating their son. It gets to the point, you'll see, she yells for the kids to go to their rooms and close their doors. You'll see and hear how one of the children ran next door to the neighbors. You'll see how the neighbors came to try and intervene and calm him down. And he threatens them. And unfortunately, you're going to see, after all of the turmoil, all of the threats, you're going to see Ashley Henning sitting in a chair. And Jordan Henning shooting her as she sits there pleading with him to put the gun down. You'll see how she tries to get up and run. He follows, stands over her and shoots her. Gets another magazine and comes back and stands over her and executes her. And you'll see how he spits on her body as he walks away. And you'll hear how he does a countdown. He tells her, "This is going to end in death tonight." And you're going to hear him tell her it's all her fault. Now, I don't know what kind of explanation or excuse one can come up for that. But when you've heard all of the evidence and you've seen and heard the video, I'm going to ask you to find Jordan Henning guilty of murder.
The prosecution left no room for doubt. They framed this as anything but a moment of lost control. This was intentional, deliberate, calculated, a choice. As for why, according to the state's theory, Jordan was afraid. Not of Ashley, but of what might happen if she reported him. He knew allegations of domestic violence could end his military career, so instead of facing consequences, the prosecution said, he tried to erase the problem. Permanently. Now it was the defense's turn. The question on everyone's mind, how would they frame Jordan Henning's actions? What strategy would they use to shift the jury's perspective?
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen of the jury. Good morning. Now, ladies and gentlemen, Jordan Henning was an outstanding soldier. He served his country honorably, both in the United States and overseas. He placed himself in danger. He served our country and served our country to protect us. Tragically, on this date, and this is a man, the evidence will show, no criminal record, no brushes with the law, never committed a crime in his life. But on this day, he snapped. He lost it. He went over the edge. He killed his wife in his home. The home had a security system, which he helped install. And so the shooting is on video. The shooting is awful. But having said that the video is awful, ladies and gentlemen, Jordan Henning, as I said, broke He's not the first person to break, and he broke. There's no other explanation. He went over the edge, and he went over the edge for a variety of reasons. One, he was embroiled in a marriage that was horrible. The proof will show that there was physical abuse in the marriage and had been for years. Grabbing of the testicles to the point where he was in pain. Mental abuse. You're worth nothing. You're nothing at all. You're useless. You're worthless. You're not a man. It was day after day, year after year. You're nothing. He had a condition where he had to take testosterone, and there were repeated remarks. You're less than a man.
Jordan's defense team argued that his actions stemmed from what they called an extreme emotional disturbance. They claimed he had endured years of verbal, emotional, and physical abuse from his wife Ashley, who also happened to outrank him in the military. According to the defense, the shooting wasn't premeditated. It was the result of overwhelming stress and fear that had built up over time. Their goal was to convince the jury that this wasn't murder, it was manslaughter. The first witness called was Jordan's neighbor and former friend, James Jimmy Watts. He testified to the events of the evening, said he believed Jordan was one of the greatest guys in the world, and agreed that he never knew Jordan to be violent. The Hennings' 13-year-old daughter took the stand, off-camera, audio only. She told the jury what she heard, what she saw from her upstairs bedroom that night. But just before she testified, something unexpected happened. Prosecutors said the teen disclosed, for the first time, allegations that Jordan had physically abused her mother. The defense called it trial by ambush, arguing these last-minute claims would unfairly poison the case against their client. Judge Ashlock shut that part down. He ruled the jury wouldn't hear it. Next up was Jamie Savat, one of Ashley's close friends. She testified about the couple's troubled marriage, how Jordan frequently complained that Ashley refused to have sex with him. Still, Jamie said she never saw signs of physical abuse and didn't think Ashley was in danger, even after witnessing Jordan grab her by the neck before she and her husband left the house that evening. A shocking revelation. Jamie's blunt, no-nonsense way of speaking led to some tense and at times combative moments in the courtroom.
And I was different than everyone. And he goes, a lot of people like to try to be like us. He goes, but they're not like us. So I think there was a boundary very set early on with me and Jordan from that night forward, from that conversation to where when he put his hands on my face and I pushed him off of me and I said, Jordan, don't do that. Because I even said, there's just certain lines with me you do not cross. I said, my lines are, you do not F with my husband and you do not F with my kids. And he laughed and he goes, yeah. I said, that to me, you mess with my husband and you mess with my kids, I said, I will gladly rock a jumpsuit and smile in my mugshot if you cross those lines with me. I said, you can come in my house, you can steal my stuff, you can do anything, but don't cross those lines with me. Don't mess with my family. That is important to me. And Jordan laughed and he said, yeah, he goes, I feel similar. He goes, but the difference between me and you is he goes, being military, he goes, I can claim PTSD, and because I take testosterone injections, he goes, I can say I had a rage moment and claim insanity. And I was like, yeah, you actually do have a leg up on me if something ever crazy did happen.
All right. Now, police interviewed you. You have testified something that would really be very important to upset anybody, that Jordan had talked about saying, if he killed somebody, he could claim EED and so forth and get away with it. Isn't that what you said essentially?
No, I don't know what EED is. I said said he could claim PTSD and say he had a rage moment. So I don't know what you're talking about with EED. So no, you're incorrect.
Let me ask you this. When you got to the party that day,
Yes.
Okay, you saw Ashley, is that correct?
Obviously, yes.
And what was her condition?
She was drinking. She was tipsy. She was good.
Was she drunk?
Yes, she was tipsy.
All right. And then, did you drink?
I had 2 mom waters, which is 3.5% alcohol. The whole 6.5 hours I was there, so I wasn't drunk, if that's what you're alluding to.
No, I'm not. Did you take a shot with her?
Yes, we did.
Okay.
We took 1 shot of that big of something. I don't even know what it was.
So she's drunk, you drink with her, I'm not saying you were drunk. correct? Now, this thing where he supposedly grabbed her, in the entire time, and let's go back to this statement, did you ever mention this time where he slammed the car door?
To whom and to where?
To police, when you're interviewed in July of 23, by the way, he slammed the door and it would have hurt her. Do you mention that incident at all?
They didn't ask me if he had been aggressive with her, so no, I didn't say that. I was strictly telling what happened that day, how I knew Ashley, and how our families interacted. That's what I was telling that day. I was not asked specific questions as of, did you ever see domestic violence? I mean, just like I said here, I never seen Ashley nor Jordan sit there and slug it out.
You never saw any domestic violence between the two, correct? You never saw any.
What's your term of domestic violence?
I'll ask you this. Did you ever see any violent act by him? And you didn't, and that's why you didn't
I
mention
seen him
it.
slam the car door
Did you say that in the...
out of anger.
Did you say that in the statement, ma'am?
Why did I need to?
Is the answer no?
No.
And the answer about him ever being violent, I know you've got the thing where you put the hand on the neck. Do you ever say anything beyond that? Do you ever say the man was violent?
I think I did tell him about him putting his hands on me and getting in my space, and I think I did mention that.
You didn't say he was violent, ma'am. You said, in fact, you were friends.
So, yeah, we were friends.
Yeah.
And there's a line that you cross, and that's what I said earlier. There's a line, even with friends, that people can get too aggressive and too abrasive, and he crossed that line.
But you said you were like him. You want two peas in a pod, right?
Sure enough.
All right, now, did you ever say he was violent towards her? You got the door slam, which you didn't mention, and you got the party. Did you mention any other incident in that 45 minutes to an hour?
No, because I've never seen Jordan hit her. If that's what you're getting at, no, I've never seen Jordan hit her, and I've never seen her hit Jordan.
I never hit, push, I mean anything that you saw.
Other than verbal abuse, no. No physical abuse, but there was verbal abuse.
Well, and then, ma'am, you're talking verbal abuse. I asked you physical abuse. There was none. Is that your answer?
I
There
already
was
said
none.
that. Other than the push of the car door and him grabbing her neck that day, I already stated that. Can we look back at the transcripts and quit asking the same questions?
Well, I'll ask what I think I need to ask.
I don't know if I said Ashley's answer.
You already talked about how you wanted to be in the trial.
That would only be common sense since I'd spent 6.5 hours with her that day. I was the only one of the very few people that had spent the whole day with her leading up to it. So that would only
And that you
sense.
wanted to give these victim impact statements.
Yes.
You're on a mission to convict this guy. That's
He
what
convicted himself. There's video. He's convicted himself.
you are ensuring, trying to his conviction.
No,
That's
what I
your
want is
goal.
I want these people, and I know you might not have a heart and understand, but everybody else in this room, I want them to understand the impact that he has had and his actions has had on so many people. That's what I want.
Right, we're not even at that stage yet. You are on a mission.
You're
to
bringing this
convict
up.
him.
He convicted himself. Let's show the footage.
Just so I know. Okay.
The defense then called 4 witnesses, all military service members from Fort Knox, who testified to Jordan's reputation. They described him as honest, respectful, and not prone to violence. After the prosecution had rested its case, the defense made a bold move. They called Jordan Henning to the stand. Their goal? To humanize him, to let the jury hear directly from the man at the center of it all. The defense wanted to show Jordan as someone overwhelmed, not calculated, a husband who snapped under pressure, not a cold-blooded killer. Jordan testified that the hours leading up to the shooting were chaotic and emotionally intense. He described ongoing tension between him and Ashley, especially when it came to parenting and sharing household duties. He told the court about a specific moment on the day of the incident where he claimed Ashley physically attacked him.
We were taking glasses down to the basement from the cars. We had a lot of stuff, a lot of that stuff. And then I remember hearing her screaming my name. I was just thinking, what did I do? What did I do now? And she was saying about this slip and slide that we talked about and the kids earlier that day, that, hey, if you're going to bring it out, we all agree, me, her, and him, that, hey, if he's going to bring this out, he needs to put it away. She wanted to do it for him, and I wasn't okay with that. Like, no, we agreed on this. Like, this is, you know, his parents were supposed to be united, and, you know, I was upset at her for, you know, just overriding this. Just, she overruled me on everything, it felt like, and so I started yelling at her, and he's up in the shower, you know, and he's on a whole other floor. They're playing his computer, playing his Xbox, and he was in the water, and so I'm yelling loud, and yes, I was upset, and I was yelling, and we go outside, and I'm trying to show him, like, hey, this is where I was pointing to the drain spout on this slip and slide, because it would collect water on the end of it, and she's out there with us, and that's, I kept telling him, he's like, where is it, because it's getting dark, and I was like, it's right here. I was like, I was frustrated, and that's when she grabbed me around my balls and started smacking me, and I started telling her, let go, stop, please, like, let go, and I'm yelling at her, and she's pulling me from where the slip and slide was set up over to kind of the porch area, and as she's pulling me, I went to reach out for the banister, and I didn't grab the banister, and somehow he ended up in between us, and I heard him scream. I had finally gotten a hold of her wrist, and I pried her off of me, and I restrained her wrist up by her head, and I said, stop. And she had told him to go get Jimmy. We're arguing, and Jimmy comes over and starts screaming at me, get off of her. And when I finally let up and let go of her wrist and stood up, he shoved me down onto my steps. And I just remember thinking, like, dude, you don't even know what's going on. Like, you don't understand even how we got to this point. Like, what are you attacking me for? I wasn't sitting on top of her, hitting her. I wasn't hurting her. I was just holding her wrist down. And when he shoved me down, she told him to run. And I don't know. I just took off after him. Like I was upset. I was mad. And I had his headlock, and I just held him there until he would stop. Just stop. And finally he was tapping my leg, and I let him go, and he was like, I'm grabbing my gun. And I don't know, I was scared. I took off as fast as I could upstairs to my room where I had my pistol. And I remember grabbing my pistol and my spare magazine and just thinking, like, this is how I'm going to die. Like, my friend is going to kill me. And I ran back downstairs, and you know, I didn't know where he went. I didn't know if he had left the property. I didn't know. And so I'm outside, and I was just mad. I was scared. I don't know. And I just remember seeing him and Chris Becker and Chris's truck pull up, and Chris Becker and him coming over, and I saw that he had something in his hand, and it looked like a gun. And then I don't know. A lot of it's a blur. I was mad, and I was just upset, and my wife had just attacked me yet again, and I didn't know what else she would do, and my friend was going to kill me over it. I didn't know what was going on, and it was just chaos. And I just broke. I don't know. Next thing I remember, I'm standing over top of her shooting. I didn't know how I got to that point, or what was going on. I didn't know it. I didn't understand how we got there, and so I was just scared, and I don't know. I remember at one point being in my car, and then the cop was arresting me, and I don't know, it comes in snippets, and It's hard to describe because you don't, I just don't remember it all. It was so much chaos. I don't know.
What possible purpose could you have to ride around in a gun after you shot her 4 times and she's on the floor? What possible purpose did you have for that?
My purpose for it is to get around back into the chamber, sir.
You wanted her dead. You wanted to make sure she was dead. You heard the moaning. She was dying. That wasn't enough for you. Isn't that right? You wanted her dead that night. What other reason would you fire a gun into this young woman laying on the floor, moaning from the gun bullets that you put in her seconds before? What other purpose other than you wanted her dead? Isn't that what? Can we agree on that?
I don't know.
What do you mean you don't know? You don't remember doing this?
I don't.
You don't remember shooting this young woman a 5th time after you rifled a bullet into the round into this chamber with a gun?
No, I don't, sir.
The defense then called Dr. Justin Anderson, a forensic psychologist, to testify about whether Jordan was experiencing anything that could have affected his judgment or self-control on the night of the shooting.
Okay. Now, you also reviewed the security videos.
Yes, sir.
That the jury has seen. And I would also inform you that there's been testimony here that that night, he was in a rage and he couldn't even see what was in front of him. Would that be consistent with an extreme emotional disturbance?
It would. It would.
Okay. And why is that?
Well, I think just by definition, just that state of being, so enraged, inflamed, that it does impact your rational thinking, your judgment, and so you're not, processing and working in a normal way cognitively.
After all the evidence and closing arguments were presented, the jury began deliberations. The prosecution was confident in their case for first-degree murder. The defense, however, argued that Jordan acted under extreme emotional disturbance, making it a case of manslaughter rather than murder. After approximately 4 hours, the jury returned with their verdict.
The person of the grand jury has the jury reached a verdict?
Yes, sir.
All right. If you'll hand that verdict to my bailiff. And before I read the verdict, is this verdict unanimous for all 12 jurors?
Yes.
All right. I'll ask the defendant and his counsel to please rise. I want to caution everyone again, there will be no outburst. It's inappropriate for any parties, counsel, anyone else in the courtroom to react in any way to the verdict. So I'm looking back on page 11. We, the jury, find the defendant guilty of first-degree manslaughter under instruction number 6, signed by the foreperson. Again, let me ask you, foreperson, did I read that correctly, and is that all 12 jurors agree with that verdict? All right. You may.
The jury's verdict, guilty of first-degree manslaughter, and their subsequent recommendation of the max sentence of 20 years sent shockwaves through many legal circles. People were stunned, and it wasn't just the lawyers and analysts. Ashley's own cousin, Marine Corps Chief Warrant Officer John Williams, he was there, and he had some powerful and very direct words for the folks he believed were responsible for how this whole thing turned out.
I've served this country for almost 22 years. 22 years in the Marine Corps. I've deployed 7 times to a combat operation, combat zones. 9 times total deployed. And this is the justice that America gives me. Unthinkable, unspeakable, it's disgusting.
Thank you, John.
Cowards. Every single one of you.
Any cross-examination?
Every single one of you are cowards.
Chief Williams was scolded by the court and was urged not to sully his name and reputation by further attacking the jurors. But that wasn't the end of his fight for Ashley. Fast forward a few weeks to Jordan Henning's actual sentencing hearing. Williams gets another chance to stand up, to look Jordan right in the eye, and to speak. And this time, he drops an absolute bombshell. He starts talking about a hidden side to Jordan Henning. Chief Williams reveals that someone had apparently come forward with evidence, information not heard by the jury, suggesting Jordan was leading a double life. And he wasn't just throwing out salacious details. Chief Williams was painting this alleged secret life as a potential key to the whole tragedy, a possible motive for Ashley's murder.
Ashley deserved compassion, mercy, all those things that you talked about right now. But she's not here to get that, is she? You stand here convicted today of manslaughter. You make no mistake. You murdered Ashley. She was a daughter, a mother of three, a friend, and one of the most respected people in the community and in the Army. Now you get to serve a 20-year sentence, hopefully in a controlled facility protected by lock gates and routine. Well, Ashley's children must now grow up without their mother. They will never feel the warmth of Ashley's signature hug. They'll never hear her booming laugh or her soothing voice, or heed the guidance she would have provided as they navigated life's milestones. You robbed them of their innocence and safety. In the one place that they should have felt the safest. No matter how much love and support we provide, nothing will replace the presence of another. We carry the weight of losing someone so important to so many people. You should consider yourself lucky, because prison is the safest place on earth for you right now, because I can't get my hands on you. It was utterly disgusting during the trial while you hid behind the fact that you were a soldier. Let me be clear. You don't get to use the uniform to justify what you did. You wore it, but you disgraced it. I reviewed your service record book, and yet you invoke your service and the training you received as some sort of excuse for murdering Ashley. No excuse. It's pathetic and it's insulting. Ashley is the real deal. She was a decorated soldier. She served her country in Iraq and Afghanistan with honor and courage. You don't get to stand in your shadow and pretend you wore the same uniform the same way she did. You are a disgrace to every man and woman who has ever served the country in uniform with integrity, and you dishonor your sacrifice every time you open your mouth and pretend otherwise. You aren't convicted of what you really did. You manipulated the narrative. You continue to manipulate the narrative now. You sold the jury a lie and somehow got away with a lesser charge. But those lies don't protect you here today. Someone close to you finally had enough of your lies and your deceit. They came forward and revealed what you've been hiding, your double life. The life you live as base player. While you were recorded accusing Ashley of being unstable for years, dating back as far as 2014 when you were stationed in Colorado, you were living underneath that personality on the FET Life and X-Hamster. Those accounts are still active. You've been keeping your BDSM, cross-dressing, having sex with other men, alternative lifestyle in secret and in the shadows. And now it comes into the light. I'm not here to shame you for your choices in the bedroom. It's yours to own. What I'm here to say is this. When you sat in the courtroom and tried to paint Ashley as unstable, unfaithful, and deviant, you were just projecting. There's plenty of photographic evidence and video evidence to substantiate my claim. Like I said, those accounts are still active. You made Ashley the villain, discovering who you really are. She found out, and that terrified her. You told her, you're going to ruin my image. We all heard it on camera. when Ashley finally said she had had enough, and you made sure she wouldn't say another word to another soul. So now I'm saying it for her. You were and are living a lie. You killed the one person who could expose it, and now even with this light sentence, I promise you the truth is out. No more masks, no more lies. The person you pretended to be is no more. Now you must deal with the real Jordan. And the real you will live every day for the next 18 years, hopefully, knowing exactly who put the mirror to your face. It was her family, it was her friends, the ones who loved her most. Holly, Jamie, Brandon, Chris, Natasha, and I. We're the people who will never let you forget what you did, who you are, and how you tried to bury both. My grandmother, God rest her soul, used to always say, what's done in the dark always comes to the light. So welcome to the light, and good luck on the inside, bass player. Spelled B-A-S-E-P-L-A-Y-A-R. Now that the truth is out, I'm sure your fellow inmates will appreciate the full picture. I hear they're very understanding when it comes to liars and manipulators, and men who kill women with children in them in order to protect their image. You might want to keep your username to yourself, or not. Either way, your real sentence is just beginning.
Okay, you might be wondering, if this double life allegation was so explosive, why didn't the jury hear about it? The answer comes down to courtroom rules. Judges often exclude personal or scandalous information if it isn't directly tied to the crime or if it's too prejudicial, meaning it could unfairly influence the jury. But here's the twist. According to Ashley's family, the person who came forward with this info didn't go to them first. They went to the police. And the family claims the police turned them away. It's a serious allegation, one that raises a difficult question. If that lead had been taken seriously, could the outcome have been different? For Ashley's loved ones, it's not just speculation, it's the weight of feeling like the full truth never came out. After the sentencing hearing, Jordan's defense filed a motion asking the court to reduce his 20-year prison term. The request was made under a Kentucky statute that allows for sentence reduction if the defendant can prove they were a victim of domestic violence at the hands of the person they killed. On May 21, 2025, Jordan took the stand and testified that Ashley had abused him during their marriage, but prosecutors pushed back hard.
Is this your profile on fatlife.com? Yes, sir. Just ask you what First page is your profile. The second page is all of the things that you're into. Is that right?
When I created this, yes, at the time.
That's you?
Yes, sir.
And those are all pictures of you or pictures you've posted?
Yes, sir.
Once the admission was made, the state introduced evidence from a fetish website Jordan said he used. To be clear, this information was not submitted to shame anyone for their lifestyle choices. In the hearing, it was used to show that some of what he called abuse actually matched things he said he was into, making his story harder to believe. In the end, Judge Larry Ashlock denied the motion. He said there was no credible evidence that Ashley had abused Jordan. The surveillance footage, he said, showed nothing to support that narrative. Jordan's original sentence remains in place. He must serve 85% of the 20-year term before he's eligible for parole. There's also the possibility that he could face additional charges through a military court-martial. According to a published report, as the judge read his decision, the courtroom erupted in applause, a small but meaningful moment of relief for Ashley's family, friends, and the community that had stood by her.